Hey, what's up, all you gamers from the MMORPGers to the first-person shooters? Welcome, one and all, to the Mystery Box Podcast. This is episode 2. How you feeling about it, Jack?
I'm pretty excited. I am very excited.
Hmm.
Although I know last
But,
time we talked about like one thing, so I'm kind of keen
yeah,
on talking about multiple things. I'm totally cool with that.
yeah, we're gonna get into that. Just to let you all know, I am Nathan. You can also find me on YouTube as Alert Fever 380.
Yes, that's true. And then I am good old Jackers Jack. I know that the first one, I don't remember if I went by that or if I went by Sneaky Spire 201, but I rebranded the channel, so that's what I'll be known as. Pretty much everything has kind of switched. I suppose, like, Discord is different, Twitter is different, Instagram is different. Like, what I mean different, they're the new name that I'm going under.
Right
But
before this, I actually watched the first episode we did, and I cannot wait for you to do that editing thing where you put our Discord pictures up on screen and they take a look and see what your fucking picture is.
yeah. No, that's yeah.
Look at it in all of its glory.
Maybe I'll circumvent this in some way. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure something out. But yeah. So what's the first thing that you want to talk about? You can
We'll
throw
roll the
whatever.
box and let's see. Oh, look, it's rolling. You aren't gonna edit it in like I wanted you to do last time, but I'm hoping you do this time. Hey, look at that. Something called the game Ready or Not.
All right, bet. That looks
Ready
like
or
you
Not
should
is,
take the stage on this one. Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Ready or Not is a very highly realistic first-person shooter game where you're essentially members of a SWAT team that have to go into these buildings, and you have different objectives that range from a raid where the suspects are in there with their drugs and whatever, and you're gonna go in and stop them, to hostage situations, to bomb threats. And we're talking about this because I've been playing a lot of it lately, and I can say it is very, very fun. Very fun.
Yeah, you
I
wanted me
haven't
to get
lasted
it.
some-
I didn't buy it.
I did, because I wanted to play it together because it's, oh god, it's great.
I'm gonna bring my seat up. There we go. That's better. I got a new chair.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
go on.
The game circles around a team of SWAT members, and it's a very, very difficult game. Very high realistic. Like, you can get anything from seriously hurt to bleeding out to getting shot in your arms and your arms don't work very well to getting shot in your legs and you move slower. But overall, it is a very difficult and what I would like to say is somewhat scary game because it is terrifying sometimes when those crackheads and drug dealers jump out at you. But
Sorry, go ahead.
you want to say something?
No, is there lore behind this? I don't know why. I remember seeing something, like, I don't know if it was a footage or something, and it looked
Well-
like there was, I don't know, some sort of a lore, but like something creepy, like creepy lore.
I imagine there is. There's backstories behind, like, all of the buildings you go to. And there's something with the sense of the team and the building you're in. It doesn't look like it's a standard SWAT team. It looks like it's like a special unit that was put together, but I'm not fully sure.
Okay. Interesting.
But it's just something's a little off. But
Yeah.
for all I know, it could just be a regular SWAT team.
All right. And when you said the game is difficult, like, compare what's a benchmark, like, on its difficulty? Like, what can you benchmark and not necessarily compare 1-to-1, but say, like, oh, I remember playing this game and it felt like it was just as difficult as this game that I'm playing now. You know what I'm saying? But not like comparing directly, like, oh, this game's a shooter and this game's, combat based, but even though they're both difficult, they're not the same. I mean, you could compare it like that if you compare different genres, but I'm just curious, like, what comes close, I suppose.
Well, when I first played Ready or Not, I felt very close vibes. It was probably a bit easier than this one, but I felt very close vibes to when I played Escape from Tarkov.
Okay.
It had that same sense of like, you don't just have one hitbox and you get shot there and it's the same for everything. Escape from Tarkov also had that sense of very realism. You needed to be quiet, you need to sneak, you need to lean around corners to check. Not everything healed everything. It was very scary to play Tarkov because you could die really fast.
Yeah, so I've
Depending.
heard. It looks that
Tarkov
game looks
has the same thing
feels too
where
complicated to me. I probably would never play that.
I loved it.
Yeah, I
Escape
totally
from
can say, I
Tarkov
can
was
totally
great.
see it.
But anyways, like, it's not the sense of like you have a set amount of life is what made me think of this with Tarkov. Because if a bot shoots you in the head, that's a death. Because you can't come back.
You're talking about in
getting
Ready or
shot in
Not?
the face. Yeah, in Ready or Not.
Dang, is the AI pretty well designed, or is it like buggy? Is it okay?
I think it is.
Interesting. That's really cool.
The AI will actually, it's really cool because the AI is kind of smart.
Okay, and
So,
how so?
when you, well, the AI, let's just take one of the main first missions you'll probably ever play called, I like to call it the Crack House. It's
Okay.
basically this two-story house with a couple rooms. I'd say about 5 rooms downstairs and 6 rooms upstairs. It's a pretty big house. Anyways, you go in, and sometimes when you go in, the AI will see you, and they'll run, and they'll go into different rooms. I've seen AIs, like, they're like, it's this old kind of rundown house, so it's got parts on the walls that are broken and kind of cracked. They'll slide through those, like, slits in the wall and run into other rooms and stuff. And also, the AI kind of tells where you're coming from. So as you move around the house, as you get out of certain pathways, AIs will understand that, and these AIs will actually try to move around the house to flank you and your team.
Okay.
Like in most games, AIs will mostly stay in one spot. These don't. They have free range all around the map, and their movement is very, very random.
Okay. Interesting.
And the AIs can tell when you're about to break into a room, and they'll be prepared, whether like they're gonna have their guns pointed at the door and are ready. I've also had AIs run and hide from me. So when I break into a room, like I check a room and I see it, oh, there's an enemy in there, and you break down the door, and then bam, they're gone, and you're like, where the hell did they go? They're hiding underneath of a bed, or they're hiding in one of the closets.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a very realistic SWAT game, so if you do not check your corners, you could die.
Interesting. Which one do you think is more complicated to play, Escape from Tarkov or Ready or Not?
Oh, definitely Tarkov.
Okay.
Tarkov because you're playing against other players as well.
Yeah.
Ready or Not is PvE, whereas Escape from Tarkov is PvEVP. So it's player versus environment versus player.
Okay. All right. No, that makes sense.
What did you say?
I had to process what you said, the PvEVP. I was like, what? I'm like, oh wait, never mind. No, that's definitely, that makes a lot of sense. You have to, wait, do you have to check your ammo manually in Ready or Not?
Yeah.
What makes Tarkov more complicated? Is it like
I said, it's PvEVP instead of just PvE. So in Tarkov, there's like a lot more guns to use and a lot more like controls, and it's not one thing heals all.
Okay.
You need specific healing items for specific wounds in Tarkov, whereas in Ready or Not, there actually is like no healing items as far as I'm aware.
In Tarkov or in
No, and Ready or
Ready or
Not.
Not? Okay. All
There's
right.
no healing items as far as I'm aware.
And I assume that you would recommend this game for sure.
I would definitely recommend this game.
You would.
They,
What'd you say?
I would definitely recommend this game.
Okay.
Something that's cool is the amount of detail that they put into developing your character and classes.
Mm-hmm.
In Tarkov, you have a list of characters to choose from. You know, that's not the big deal. The big deal is your gear that you can pick. They have a wide amount of guns, ranging from assault rifles to shotguns to breach rifles to SMGs to some battle rifles, but it all is good, and the pistol selection is great too. And then you move on to the vest. You can make your own vest to how you wish. You can decide whether you want plates in front, plates in back, both. Plates in front and back. Or if you want a heavier vest that can take more damage and stop heavier bullets, or if you want a light vest, which allows you to move faster and make less noise, but you won't be able to take as much hits, to if you just want to move really fucking quiet so nobody can hear you at all, and have no protection, you can throw on the stab-proof vest.
Huh. Okay, that's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
pretty
then
well
you can-
customizable.
And then you can throw lasers and flashlights on your gun that the AI can actually see and register as dangerous. So if you turn on your laser and you're pointing it into a room and an AI sees it, they'll be like, oh shit, somebody's about to come in. I better run and hide or get in a position where I can have a good angle to shoot them.
Yeah.
Which I think is really cool that the AI is smart enough to recognize that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is really cool. I don't know if it's a game that I would personally. I'm sure there's a good chance I'd like it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it's like $30 and I'm kind of for a game that I don't really know well. Like I don't. Maybe it's because I don't either have a good connection to that genre of games, or that I just don't know much about that specific game. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to throw money at it.
You just need to come over one time and play it on the PC, and play it on my PC. Try it out for a bit.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. That would be kind of interesting. Like,
I think it's really cool.
it seems like it. I need to look at more, because you're not the first person that's asked me to buy that. So
Yeah.
it seems like people really like it.
The accuracy of the equipment is good too. Like when you need breaching equipment, because you can get stuff from, you know, the mirror gun, which you can slide under doors to kind of like a snake cam to see if there's anybody on the other side, to like the battering ram, to the breach shotgun. It's all very, very good, and I believe the developers actually got like a behind the scenes look into these items that the SWAT team members use to make their game as accurate as possible, which I think is really good. And good on the dev team for taking that extra mile to make sure this game was accurate to what it's trying to portray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what you're saying, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that's enough talking about this stuff, and let's get into like how the game really actually plays. So
yeah, I'm all ears.
You can start off at the HQ, and you can decide with your team where you want to go, and it will give you a quick backstory of what is going on. And you can decide between a few different modes. Hang on. Alright. You can decide between a few different game modes, which are barricaded suspects, raids, active shooter, bomb threat, and hostage rescue.
Did you look this up?
I literally just did. I literally just typed it in.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said wait.
Alright.
So, barricaded suspects is rated as normal difficulty. Essentially, the suspects were brought with a warrant stating that their premises would be searched under arrest. In doing so, the officers were shot, and the suspects have barricaded themselves into the house. It is your job as a SWAT member to go in and, quote, arrest the suspects. Then raid, active shooter are both labeled as hard. A raid is We have a warrant for the house. They do not know that we are coming. You are going to be the first person in. These people are considered to be armed and highly dangerous with rifles. Be careful and watch each other's backs. Active shooter is pretty self-explanatory. There's an active shooter on the vicinity. He has shot and killed at least a couple hostages we know. Your job is to go in and rescue the hostages and take out the active shooter. Deadly force is allowed.
Huh.
Bomb threat is labeled as really hard, which is very simple. Somebody has threatened to blow up a location. You must go in and find 2 bombs and disarm them. And then hostage rescue is labeled as insane. This is the hardest one there is.
Okay.
Suspects have barricaded themselves and taken hostages. Your job is to go in and rescue the hostages and put down the suspects and arrest them.
You said put down the suspects?
Essentially.
Okay.
Because in hostage rescue, you almost have no chance of getting them alive. So
It's that difficult?
it is very difficult. I have first-hand account. I have played all of these. My favorite one to play is active shooter. It is a lot of fun because it's basically the one where you don't need to be so careful because you gotta go in and you gotta go in hard to save the hostages, and you can't really sit around and check your corners all the time. It's basically a very fast-paced version.
Okay.
The hostage rescue is very hard because if you take too long to get in there, they'll kill the hostages. If they see you, they'll kill the hostages. If you don't coordinate with your team to take down all of the assailants at once, one of them can kill a hostage.
Okay.
And that hurts your overall score.
Alright.
So the gameplay is pretty simple. You'll spawn in at this location, and you'll slowly make your way through the location using your gear and stuff, anywhere from using things as your guns, your equipment, pepper spray, a taser.
Pepper spray? How does that work?
Pepper spray is actually, it's a piece of equipment you can have. It won't take up a weapon slot, but it's literally just you shoot a stream of pepper spray at them, and they'll can just yell out and drop their guns and put their hands up and just be like in pain because you just spray them in the face.
Okay, that's pretty cool. You don't see that happen a lot in a video game.
No. You can go in, and there's essentially a couple types of like people you can encounter. You can encounter civilians who are usually just they're NPCs without guns. They'll mostly sit there and stuff. What you do is you can actually go into the room, and if you press F, your character will tell them to get on the ground or put their hands up or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And they'll oblige, or they won't. You gotta basically make them by using any force necessary. But the game plays as like, for doing certain things, you can complete the mission, you'll get higher scores off of it. To complete the mission, you must complete all the objectives, so it could be anywhere from bring order to the location, which is basically capture or kill all of the suspects, save all civilians, and retrieve certain items like meth packets, personnel files, top secret information, so on and so forth. And then you can get negative points for certain things. You get negative points if hostages die, you get negative points if you use unlawful force, you get negative points if you do not follow the rules of engagement.
Huh. That's interesting. Is that kind of stuff pretty severe? Like, is it every single game you're bound to, like, do poorly in some areas and then, like, lose points?
I actually have, most of my playthroughs I've done, it's actually not too hard to follow the rules of engagement. It's just simple things, like, it's just simple things, like don't kill hostages, don't kill your team, like one of them is really weird though. It's give the suspects a chance to surrender. You can't just walk in and blow a suspect's head out while he's not even looking. You need to give the order for them to get down.
Okay.
And if they don't oblige, then you can shoot.
Oh, okay. Now you're making me sound like I should get this game. Kind of want to buy it now that you're telling me all this stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. When the suspect gets down, you can simply walk up behind them and press F to put them in handcuffs, making your way throughout the house. You also get plus points when you report all of these suspects. So basically, when you capture a suspect, you press F again to radio in to command that you have a suspect or a suspect in custody or a suspect down. You can also need to collect the evidence. So if you kill somebody with a gun, you need to walk up and hold F to secure the weapon, which means nobody else can pick it up. Because that can happen. Some NPCs, if you do not handcuff them and leave them with a gun nearby, they can grab the gun and shoot you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you can secure the weapons and secure evidence as well, which will also get you bonus points.
Alright. That makes sense. But there are multiple ways to win these?
There are multiple ways to win these.
Alright. So it's not the most linear thing in the world. That's kind of cool.
Yep. That's basically the gist of what Ready or Not is. I think it's a great game, and if anybody hasn't played it, or at least watched somebody play it, I think you should check it out and give it a chance, because I think it's really good.
It sounds cool. I kind of want to...
You need to try it at
do
least.
some more... Now it's like, now I'm interested in actually actively looking up more information about this. Should have gone in on the sale.
Yeah.
But I got some other stuff.
What did you get?
I got Mirror's Edge and Mirror's Edge Catalyst, God of War. What else did I get? I bought Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel because I didn't want to play it on Epic Games, so I got it for Steam. But it was pretty cheap. I think that was it. Well, sure, there might be something else that I'm missing. You know, I think there might be something else that I'm missing. I'm looking right now. But I think that I have everything that I got. Oh, I also got a sister location. That's the only one I didn't have. Yeah, what else? I think that might be it. I'm looking. I don't see anything that's... Oh yeah. Okay, so I also got Stray. I did get that.
Oh yeah?
I did.
Hey, I got a question for you. Wasn't Stray a part of the Game Awards?
It was.
Oh, I think that leads into our next box roll, don't you think?
Oh yeah.
Why don't you roll the box? I did a lot of talking because you were trying to talk for a bit.
I'm not the box expert here. All right.
Oh yeah. Fun fact: the mystery box is actually run by massive amounts of ketamine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
No wonder. That makes a lot of sense.
Anyways, so you want to move on to the next topic?
Yeah, sure.
The next topic is actually coming in a little bit late. It is actually the Video Game Awards.
Yeah.
It is a little bit late. We're kind of getting to this late. Because
what was it, like 2 weeks ago or something? 3 weeks ago?
I feel like it was more like 4.
Maybe it was more than that. Yeah, you might be right. No, I think you are right. I think it's probably been about a month.
Mm-hmm. So did you actually sit down and watch it?
I did. I watched the whole thing. I
came in a little bit after Kratos got finished with his speech.
It was like a 10-month speech.
Man, give him a loan. Dude's got a great voice. I'd give like a 10-month speech if I had a voice like that.
Fair. No, I totally get that.
But what were all the awards and who were the winners? Do you have those pulled up?
Yeah, I do. So there was a Game of the Year. I gotta go through. I'm on their website. Best Game Direction. Okay. Wait, what'd you say?
Like, go for it.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah, Game of the Year. Best Game Direction. Best Narrative. Best Art Direction. Best Score and Music. Best Audio Design. Best Performance. Games for Impact. Best Ongoing. Best Indie. Best Mobile Game. Best Community Support. Innovation in Accessibility. Best VR/AR. Best Action Game. Best Action/Adventure Game. Best Role Playing. Best Fighting. Best Family. Best Sim/Strategy. Best Sports/Racing. Best Multiplayer. Content Creator of the Year. Best Debut Indie. Best Adaptation. Most Anticipated Game. Best Esports Game. Best Esports Athlete. Best Esports Team. Best Esports Coach. And Best Esports Event. So which one do you want to start with?
Let's go with the indie games because I love indie games so much.
The
And
debut
those
one?
creators, yes, those creators deserve a shout out for everything they do. Anybody out there who's an indie creator, you do a good job with what you have. You don't have the whole world of money. You don't have like everything that a full studio has, but you do really good with what you have anyway. So let's shout out to them first.
Agreed. Indie content is amazing. Well, I mean, obviously there's some bad indie stuff, but given the fact that it's much lower budget and stuff, it's nice seeing great stuff come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming you probably know who won the best debut indie.
I actually don't remember.
It was Stray.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
The other nominees were Norco, Tunic, Vampire Survivors, and Neon White. And Stray was the one that took the award.
Yeah, the only problem is I only know that. I don't know what any of the other ones were.
No, that's totally fair. I know of Tunic. I watched some of that. I don't really know the other three, sadly. I should, but yeah, Stray and Tunic were the one that I know is the best. That I know the best, especially Stray. That was such a big deal. So that's for the debut indie, and then there's also the best indie.
Wasn't it As Dusk Falls?
It was not.
Who was it then?
It was. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The winner of best indie was Stray. Again.
Oh, Stray again?
Yeah, Sifu was actually on this ballot specifically. The fighting game. It was actually on this one too.
It was such a good game, man.
Yeah, that one was actually on this one. Tunic was also on here.
Very difficult, but a great game.
Yeah. Yeah, I personally never played it, but I saw some game footage. It looks awesome. And I heard some really good stuff about it, but yeah, Stray won for the best indie and best debut indie, so it took home 2 awards at the least.
Right.
So is there another one that you're
Which one do you want to go for next?
Which one's interesting? Okay, yeah, so it's funny you said that. Games for Impact.
Okay.
This one was As Dusk Falls. They won the award for this category.
I've seen gameplay for As Dusk Falls. I think I watched a couple people play it. I think I watched cartoons play it. And I think I watched somebody else play it. I don't remember who else I watched, but they did a really good job with it. It is such a unique style of game.
How so? I really don't know much about this game, but go ahead.
Azduck's Falls is a 2D story-driven game, and it's all hand-drawn. And basically the way that, like, the characters move is it's really weird to explain. It's kind of in the sense of it's a 2D art style that like they're fading between like brackets of pictures that they've drawn out.
Okay.
So when your character's walking around, it's just like a fade where like the character fades out of one stance into another, if that makes any sense.
I'm
We'll
not
probably-
sure. I'll have to look this stuff up.
Just look it up right now. Just pull something up quick on YouTube, and because you kind of need to see what I'm talking about.
Like gameplay.
Yeah, just go to YouTube really fast.
Let's
Dust.
Oh, so I see what you mean by 2D. They're like hand drawn. Like
Yeah.
a hand. Oh wow, that's interesting. It's like
See what I
hand
mean by,
drawn
like, the
movements.
fade? Yes.
That's actually kind of cool. But the camera like moves and zooms. Okay, is that what you mean by fading?
Yeah, as they move, they kind of do some weird kind of fade thing.
Oh, I see. That's actually really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What was the message? Because it won the best games for impact, but what was the I remember they kind of said it.
The story, I never watched it all the way through, and I felt really bad about it because this looks like a great game, and I should have watched it all the way through. I just didn't at the time. The story that I got so far was there were two characters you played as. I don't remember the character's name. I think one of them was named Vince, I want to say. Vince is a father of a family. He has a wife and a young daughter and his father. And they're going on this somewhat road trip through Arizona, I believe it was. And they wind up at this motel. You might play as 3 different characters, but I don't remember specifically because I'm looking at the cover picture and there's a 3rd character on here that's a girl. So you probably also play as her. But this is what I got from the opening thing. So you play as these 2 characters. And the first one, like I said, is Vince. He's a father. And they went on this trip to Arizona. The second one you played as is a kid. I want to say his name is Billy. But that might just be because he's a redneck and Billy's the only thing I can think of. I know, it's bad. But he is a part of a group of men that go and rob the sheriff's house.
Okay.
They break in and they steal all the money he has from his safe, which was a lot of money because I believe the sheriff was dirty. So they steal that money and they're making their getaway, and in the end the sheriff catches them in the act. Like as they're fleeing the house, he catches them, like right as they're jumping in the back of their truck. And these guys, they drive away and they end up at a motel. That motel happens to be the same one Vince is at. And that's kind of where I left off. I know I really feel bad about not giving this game more justice, but that's all I've really seen so far. If anybody who's listening to this is really interested, I highly suggest you go check it out. It's very well made, it is a very interesting game, and it deserves a lot of credit.
Yeah, is this like a butterfly effect kind of thing too?
I know, there's a lot of decisions you have to make and a lot of surprisingly quick time events.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool how this game does quick time events.
Yeah, I
Because
was watching
you don't
some
press the-
gameplay and I saw some QTEs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. And the way they do it, it's so smooth. And it's so smooth. It's so...
It looks like it kind of meshes with everything really well.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a. Is it available on Steam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do believe so.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into that.
It's just really weird. It's got a really weird mix of like, sometimes it's hand drawn, but when any of the cars move, it's like they're like a 3D style. It's very weird. And like the style that they make it in is like very cartoonish, but the faces are also very like hyper realistic. It just makes no sense how it's all put together so well. But I think it's really good.
Very cool. Yeah, that looks sick.
So let's move on to the next one. What's the next award you want to look at?
Well, there's best performance. This one's not a surprise. That's it to anyone.
Boy.
Yeah. So the winner was Christopher Judge for best performance, and he won in 2018, right? When he did the God of War 2018. Yeah, that's not a surprise. Sonny Suljic was nominated then and now. I don't know how many times. I'm assuming it's not very often.
Pass him up.
What'd you say?
You don't know how many times they're gonna pass him up
Well,
for a guy that has a voice of a god killer.
Well, not necessarily that. I'm just saying, like, the fact that they had 2 characters out of the 5 from one video game get nominated for best performance is pretty serious. At least I think it is.
Oh yeah.
That's a pretty. I don't know if that happens a lot, but I'm assuming it doesn't. So you got like the main.
I don't think it does.
Like, because I'm sure like a bunch of these other games have multiple main characters. But the one, it's I don't know, it's interesting because I know that Sonny Suljic was also nominated in 2018, and Christopher Judge obviously being the winner. So this is the second time it's happened with the same game franchise. It's really interesting. Same actors too. But yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Dude is fantastic as Kratos. Of course, it's
Kratos, I think it's time to talk about baby names. What do you think of Atreus? No, boy. What if it's a girl? I will still call her boy.
Wait, why did that sound familiar?
Because it's an animation.
Okay. Okay, that's why I thought. I feel like I've heard that before. But yeah.
It's an animation on YouTube. I don't know who made it, otherwise I'd shout them out and give them props. I'm sorry if you ever watch this, but we're a very unknown channel, so who the fuck's gonna watch it?
Yeah. But yeah.
If you are out there, I'll figure out your name eventually, and I'll shout it out in one of these episodes.
But yeah, best performance, not a surprise. I would honestly, I've been stunned if he didn't win it. But I don't know. It seems like everyone else would have. There's a reason why everyone else is on this list anyway.
Yeah.
So.
It's really good. And have you ever heard the story about how he got the job?
No. Well, maybe you might have told me this.
I'm pretty sure I did. When they were casting the voice actors for Atreus and Kratos, they found Atreus. They wanted this kid really bad, and they were like, yes, he's the one. Him. Whatever his name is. I'm not good with names.
You're talking about Sonny Suljic?
Yeah, Sonny Suljic. And they wanted him really bad. They're like, this kid's perfect. And I think the guy that they had playing Kratos before Christopher Young was... I don't know.
You mean Christopher Judge? Or are we talking about someone else?
Oh yeah, Christopher Judge, yeah. Right.
Okay.
Christopher Young. Like I said, bad with names. I don't know if it was the original voice actor for Kratos or not. I just know that they had somebody. They already had him. They were like planning to have him, but they figured that when they both got in the booth together and they were reading their lines, there just wasn't chemistry between the two. And there needed to be, because you're playing a father and son here. And it's kind of like, it's got tough love. It's a very complicated relationship. You need some sort of chemistry between the two voice actors. And it wasn't working. So they were like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Well, there was somebody else's audition that they there was somebody else that they thought would be really good, and that was Christopher. He but he originally wasn't going to take the part. He said he didn't want it because he didn't want to get into video games. He said he wanted to be a part of movies more. He wasn't interested in voice acting for games.
Mm-hmm.
So they called his agent and they were like, man, we really want him. It's really good. We really want him. And he's like, all right, I'll send him the script. And he can take a look at it and decide for himself. And he got the script. And then he, like, within like 3 hours of getting a script, he called his agent back and he's like, I thought you said this was a video game, not like a movie. And they're like, nah, this is a video game. And he's like, what? He loved the script. He loved the idea of the relationship between Kratos and Atreus. He loved everything about it. And within the next day, he went into the studio and started recording some lines, and everything just fell into place there.
Huh. Very interesting.
How crazy that is. We could have had a different voice for Kratos that was not as deep and not as empowering as his voice.
I know that TJ Carson, I think that's his name, he had voiced Kratos prior, but I know they weren't asking him to come back just because his voice is fitting for a much younger Kratos, a much more vengeful Kratos, but not really an older one. And I know that's why they didn't get him back. At least he said that in an interview. That's why they didn't ask him to be in these new games.
Yeah, I don't think his voice would have fit. I like Chris's take on it. Kratos doesn't sound. He does still sound angry, but he doesn't sound like he's driven. He doesn't sound like he's really wanting to like do that. He sounds tired. He sounds like a man that's beat up. He sounds like a man that just doesn't want to do it anymore. He doesn't want any more of the anger. He doesn't want any more of the seeking revenge. He doesn't want any more of this or that. He just wants to have somewhat of a normal life. And Chris's voice brings that to Kratos. It brings the power that you realize how powerful Kratos is just by listening to the voice. But then you also realize that this man has been through so much shit.
Yeah. No.
That he just doesn't want to do it anymore. He doesn't want to be angry.
Yeah.
And he has regrets. He destroyed his home all in order to seek revenge on the gods.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
He brought disease to his home. He blackened the sun. He made the oceans basically come over the land and destroy everything. And at the end, he got what he wanted and he killed all the gods. He killed Zeus. And then he's looking back and he's like, what have I done? My home's gone now.
Sure.
And you kind of see that leading up into the new voice of Kratos, where he's tired and he's like no longer a young, angry, foolish man. He's old and he's wiser, and he tells Atreus that like stuff like revenge and anger isn't worth it.
Yeah.
And you should use it to power yourself, but don't use it to drive you into making these mistakes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I think he deserves winning.
Of course.
Winning it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Who else was even on the roster to win?
Ashley Birch, Charlotte McBurney, and Manon Gage. But other than Sunny Sullivan.
All good voice actors. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know much about Manon Gage or Charlotte McBurney. I'm sure that they both. Charlotte, she did A Plague Tale, Requiem, and then Manon, she did Immortality. But Ashley Birch, I do know, because I know her as Tiny Tina. but I never played a
still gotta play
Horizon
that.
game, so I don't know, but I'm sure she does really well. She's on this roster, so I'm sure she did very, very well. But yeah, Christopher Judge, who saw it coming, pretty much everyone. Yeah, it's pretty much a given, but what we got next?
I still need to play Requiem. I played the first
I-
Plague Tale, and I absolutely loved it.
Let's see. Yeah, it looked interesting when I saw the stuff during the awards, but yeah, so best audio design.
That went to Ragnarok, didn't it?
Did go to Ragnarok, yeah. It beat Gran Turismo for Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, and COD Modern Warfare 2. Which I don't know why it's nominated, but I guess it's pretty. I don't know. All the stuff
It
I
had
played
good
is not the
sound
best,
quality.
but I get it.
Wait, is this for soundtrack or sound like?
This isn't for
quality?
soundtrack. This is for like the audio engineering.
Oh, then that's your answer right there. COD has so much sound engineering that goes into it, with the trying to have the ability of making you feel like you're immersed in the war zone of the campaign, whereas you're. Oh my God, there's so much.
I guess it is
stuff,
pretty.
whether
I guess
you're-
it is complicated. I mean, for me, I've
Whether you're
had
in-
issues, but that makes sense.
Whether you're hanging upside down from a helicopter over a road in the middle of a desert, to being in this fucking novella in Mexico where you're trying to take down a cartel member, to running around the streets of Mexico City with a bullet wound in your chest trying to run. It's all sound design that tries to heavily immerse you into this. And COD does that very well.
Yeah.
So I can see why they're there.
No, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. They didn't win, but that makes more sense. But for me, I don't know. I've had some buggy issues, but I guess that happens to any game, so you can't really fault it there. But that's
With
for yeah. So that makes sense. But what else we got? Best here it is. Best score and music.
That went to Ragnarok too, didn't
Did
it?
go to Ragnarok. It beat Xenoblade Chronicles, Metal Hellsinger, Elden Ring, and A Plague Tale, which I don't know. Elden Ring's score is just so killer.
It is.
I don't know.
amazing,
For
but
personally, when I voted and actually did the voting, I voted for Elden Ring on this category. I did not vote. Although, don't get me wrong, I love Bear McCreary, and I love the score. Elden Rings is just so freaking cool. Personally, that's
I'm
just what I went
actually
with.
going to look up the soundtrack. I have not heard God of War's soundtrack. I've
It's
not
good.
heard
It's
Ragnarok
very
soundtrack.
good. It's very good.
Yeah, let me just listen to a bit of this. I think it's very, very elegant. I can see why it's getting good reviews. It's very, very, like, you can tell they took care with it. But I mean, Elden Ring's soundtrack is like, it's hard to tell, man, because man, they both are really good. I have to choose one. I would choose Elden Ring. I like its soundtrack a lot more because it's a lot more like, because like Ragnarok's soundtrack is very like elegant and has this sense of like very like, I don't know what's the word, like I can't think of the word, but it's very like elegant and very serious.
Yeah.
Elden Rings is more like, it's more like, I don't know, kind of like, come on, help me out. What's the word here?
Like I'm not sure. Like elegant, like grand.
I'd say grand, yeah. It's more grand, and it's like a bit more like there's more stuff happening in Elden Rings that give it that like, oh, this is a Souls game. This is what it means to be a part of these games with these amazing like stories and gameplay that like there's just all this and it's great.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's true. It's a lot of stuff goes into this.
Elden
The music.
Ring's, like, you know when you're listening to music and you can like you feel the power of the music.
Yeah.
Like, you sit there and you're listening to it and you can feel the power that's put into it. I get that with Elden Rings. Not to say I don't get that with Ragnarok's, but I feel like I get it more from Elden Ring.
That's fair. But yeah, that's
Is
for the.
you
Go
listen
ahead.
to Elden Rings and you're like, oh hell yeah, yeah hell yeah, no, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna win this battle. It pumps you up, which is kind of their goal, because after dying 100 times to a boss that you sure are struggling to beat, you're just like, I can do this, and then the song kicks in, you're like, hell yeah, let's do this. It pumps you up and all that stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. I think a lot of it just it's so fitting. I mean, so is Ragnarok's, but I think it's just so fitting the specific music for it's so like it gives identity, especially to the main antagonists, the main bosses. It's great.
I think it's freaking amazing.
But I get why Bear McCreary score won. I guess I have a preference for Elden Rings, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's just it. I had a lot of I wasn't into a lot of Souls games, and
Yeah.
then when Elden Ring was set to come out, me and my friend Ryan and my brother Mitchell actually played through Dark Souls 1 together, and then I tried Elden Ring and I had a blast with it, and I kind of want to play other ones. Like, I want to play Bloodborne really bad. Mitchell literally just got Sekiro for the holidays, for Christmas, and he's going to try that one. But now that I actually played them, they're a lot of fun, and I can firmly sit there and say that, like, the Souls games, they got a special place in my heart. So when I
Yeah.
hear that music coming, like, even like, oh my god, just listening to Dark Souls 1 soundtrack, oof, it's good.
Agreed. Yeah, good picks for the best soundtrack, but now best art direction.
That was Elden Ring, wasn't it?
It was Elden Ring. The other
Yeah, man.
nominees were Stray, Scorn, Horizon Forbidden West, and God of War Ragnarok.
This one definitely goes to Elden Ring.
I respect
The
it.
whole game is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know if that would be my pick, but it would probably be my number 2, easily.
What would be your number one?
Probably Scorn.
Oh yeah, Scorn was so graphic.
It was very detailed, but it's at the same time, I totally
Very.
see why Elden Ring won this award. Like, I get it, man, I get it. It's incredibly stunning visually, but Scorn is not that it's a great game, but visually it exceeds the expectations of quality. Like, it's actually
Yeah.
incredible just how detailed it is.
Yeah. I basically, when I choose this stuff, I'm looking for the thing that gives me like the most reaction, because that's what we're looking for here. We're looking for how the art like makes you react to it and how it makes you feel. When I first watched Scorn, I was thoroughly disgusted and horrified, and they did a really good job with their detail and the kind of body horror where like everything was really weird and everything was really kind of gross, and it didn't really have much of a story, and it had this atmosphere that was really creepy. But I mean, I played Elden Ring, and I cannot tell you how many times whenever I'd get to a new area, I literally would stop and sit there and just stare at the map design for like, I don't know, a good 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. Yeah.
it was all great, from the very first time you walk out of the tomb to like Godric's castle to the Crimson Swamps to kind of the upper parts of the map where it gets snowier. It all looked beautiful, and that's just scratching the surface, man. Like, enemy design arts, and oh my god, the enemies looked so unique and so detailed. And then weapon design art. Oh my god, there's so many weapons in that game, and they're all great.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Do you think it's the best looking Souls based? Not that it's a Soul, not that it's in the universe, but it is
No, it is.
stylistically a Souls game. Do you think it's the best
No, no, no,
looking?
no. It is in the universe. It's a Souls game.
Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was a Souls
All
style,
Soul,
but not in the
no,
Souls universe.
no, it's part of the Souls collection.
Okay. Are they like so they're canonically
All
connected?
they're all somewhat connected. They might not all be in the same lands because games like Dark Souls and Sekiro don't all take place in the same. I don't know if they take place in the same world, but I think they're all connected in some way. I might be completely wrong about that because like Bloodborne and Sekiro and Elden Ring don't really follow things like the rule of the flame like Dark Souls does, where like the sun and the Age of Fire. But I'm pretty sure they're all somewhat connected in some way. But they're all Souls games. All the Souls games are Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring, and I feel like there's one other.
I think you got them all. I think that's it.
Yeah, that's probably it. But those are all the Souls games.
Gotcha. I never knew if they were like canonically connected, like story wise, but I knew they were all made by From Software, I think.
Yeah, it's really good. I only know that those are all Souls games because I'm gonna make a shout out here to Ryan because f him, and I like to cause him pain and misery, but he spent the longest time trying to collect the Souls games, and then we got robbed and they stole all of them.
Yeah.
So, f him,
Pretty
I guess. He spent so long trying to get all of them, and I think the last one he was looking for was Dark Souls 3, and he got it, and then they were all stolen within like a week.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, but that's not the point. Back to topic. We were talking about the art.
Yeah.
Wait, who else? Who else was there besides Ragnarok and Elden Ring?
It was Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray.
Horizon also had good art. They looked beautiful.
I've seen gameplay. It looks pretty freaking sick.
Especially if you're running it on like a PC. That looks great.
Yeah. And Stray also
high
looked really cool, but I would be so if Stray won, I probably would be scratching my head a little bit. It doesn't beat Elden Ring. Even I get that it's like disadvantage wise, but Elden Ring is just it really is at another level. Even though I think Scorn is insane. Like they really went in with that kind of horror grotesque look. I don't know. For me, it was between those two, and God of War. I would say is in the conversation, but I don't think it's a finalist. I guess is how I'd say
in my personal opinion, my rating would be Elden Ring at the top, then God of War, and then it would be Scorn. For the reasoning that Scorn is really grotesque and really detailed, but most of the levels are the same thing. It's all body horror, and it's all like walking through this.
I guess it is.
Place
no, I can respect that.
Of like meat statues, and like the walls look very like skin, and it's all kind of the same. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot of detail, and I'm pretty sure you can walk through the entire game of Scorn and never get the idea out of your head that everything around you is terrifying. But God of War, Ragnarok, and Elden Ring, they extend and they try a lot of different things, like how big the map of Elden Ring is. And it could have all just been forest and castle, but no, they threw in the dead deserts, I think it was called, and they threw in the Crimson Swamps, and they threw in Godric's Castle, and then they threw in like just the regular swamps and the mountain areas and the cave areas. It was all very different.
Yeah. That's a really good point. I guess there is a lot of monotony in Scorn, But I mean, for me, it probably would still be my number one. But I totally could get that as like a good as a reason why as Elden, because Elden Ring, it has a lot of different styles, maybe not styles, but a lot of different colors and uses of colors in different locations that give them identity. I totally get
Yeah.
that. I totally get that.
Like, Scorn's good and all, but I feel like if I was playing Scorn, I'd go through like the first two rooms and be like, what the fuck is all this shit? But then by the third room, I'd just be like, okay, I've basically seen all this stuff before.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. No,
Not to
yeah,
talk to the creators, you guys did a good job. It's just, it was all basically the same, which makes sense based on what the game is about.
yeah. Do you think that Stray was a bit in a disadvantage here?
Stray was at a disadvantage for the entire Game Awards, in my opinion. Just,
Yeah.
it's not just, it's the problem that Stray wasn't bad. Stray just came out in a time when all of the other games were exceedingly great.
Mm-hmm. No, I can buy that for sure.
This was a very good year for video games.
It was, yeah. 2022 was great. Yeah, there's some great stuff that came out of it. It's nice seeing when multiple games go at it head to head.
Ragnarok, Elden Ring, Scorn, Requiem was a great year for games, and Stray just happened to be an indie game that came out around the same time. And it, for what it was an indie game. It gave a good run for its money, and it was definitely punching above its weight class. And you know what? It did it. It succeeded in getting up there and being
I
like,
agree.
I might be an indie game, but I'm still here and I'm still willing to throw hands.
That's a really good way to put it. It really the fact that it's even it was it nominated for best game?
Yes, game of
Yeah,
the
it
year
was. Yeah,
nominated.
that's serious. That's a pretty big deal. That's insane.
Even though it was nominated, I cannot lie. I basically sat there and was like, there is no way Stray is winning, and if it was, I probably would have been scratching my head.
Yeah, I
would have been like, good for them, but I would have been like, they beat out Elden Ring and God of War?
yeah. That's the thing. I
That's
think
a
it was
little
between
weird.
those two. I really think it was between those two. But
So Stray is a great game. It just suffered from the problem of it being a great game in a year of fucking amazing games.
agreed. Yeah. If this came out during a lukewarm year, probably would have slammed.
Oh, if this came out like maybe not last year, because last year was like the regular God of War. But if this came out like, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, it would have definitely hit harder. Because 3
Yeah.
years ago was a big drop in games.
I respect that. That's fair. I'm not sure. I can't really think that far back about like what the quality was, but that makes sense. But this one you might
3
find
years
interesting. The
What's
next
that?
category, the best narrative.
Best narrative went to Ragnarok, didn't it?
It did go to Ragnarok, in fact. Yeah, so the nominees were Immortality, Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, and A Plague Tale Requiem. And God of War
What?
won.
What is Immortality? I heard that.
I do not know. It's like the
Last-
one game I wasn't very
Let me
I guess
look
I'm
it
not
up.
really too familiar with A Plague Tale Requiem or Horizon Forbidden West, but I knew they existed. I had no idea what that game was. I'm sure it's really good. If it's nominated for best narrative, it's probably pretty enjoyable.
I can't find it. Can you find it?
Is it like wait, is it like a game but it's like real life kind of thing?
What?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it looks like it is.
Hang on, wait.
It looks like they're all like real, it's like all real life footage, but made into a video game.
Well, that's not uncommon.
That's true, I guess, but you don't really,
I
I
don't
don't think you
remember.
see it too often though.
I don't remember who was the last person to do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to, what? There was another, yeah, that's interesting.
And I'm watching it right now.
Very interesting though.
Oh, what is this?
So yeah, this was nominated for best narrative. I don't really know what the narrative is, but
I'm watching the trailer and it is very disturbing.
But yeah, so there's that. But in my opinion, out of what I knew, I would have given it to God of War.
I don't
Probably.
know, but whoever made this trailer, good on you. This is a very good job at making me feel very unsettled. It makes me want to play it to just figure out what the hell is going on.
That's fair.
So good on you guys. But yeah, I would have given it to God of War.
Yeah,
I don't
the
even think
story is
Elden Ring wasn't
nutty.
even in Elden Ring wasn't even in the running, right?
I
Because it doesn't really have a narrative.
He doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it kind of does, but like, I don't know. God of War is it's given the fact that it's much more linear based. That yeah, it did put Elden Ring was definitely a little bit in the disadvantage category here. But in my opinion, I watched Corey Kenshin play God of War Ragnarok. I watched all. I think he had like 14 episodes or so. Dude, this game is insane. This game is nuts. I'm not. I know you said that you're waiting to really get your hands on, you know. So I know you don't know much about the story. I'm not gonna say
Well,
anything.
here's the thing about Ragnarok. Mitchell got it. So if I want to play it, I need to wait for Mitchell to finish first.
This game is insane. This game is. I'm just gonna say this game is balls to the walls nuts. It's crazy.
I know it's following the end of the Norse mythology path where you're gonna kill Thor and Odin and a couple others. I don't know who else, but I know it gets really crazy. And do you know that some people out there believe that this is a lot of people believe this is the end of Kratos' story, but a lot of people are hoping that it isn't, and a lot of people are theorizing that he's gonna go to Egypt next and fight those gods. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just let everybody know this is in no way confirmed. We aren't saying this is happening. They're just saying, a lot of people are saying that they hope the games don't end and they want more Kratos, and they're saying maybe he'll go and fight other gods, like maybe Egyptian, or I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know about any other serious
They just
gods.
They just go after the Christian. He's just gonna go toe to toe with Jesus Christ. No, I'm just kidding.
You want to know something?
What?
Jacksepticeye made that joke.
Yeah, it's funny. I saw. I just I guess technically, like, I don't know. It's an off. I mean, yeah, sure, it's off the table, but like, one can hope, or one can dream that he just fights. It just like gets the beaten out of him by Jesus. Can you imagine?
The way Jacksepticeye put it is like, Kratos is gonna go up and go, why the fuck is he just a dude? Like, Jesus is gonna be sitting there with a wooden cross and turning water into wine and be like, Kratos, hey man, what's up? And just be like Jesus
funny.
and be really cool, and then Kratos is just gonna be like, boy, shoot him with an arrow. This arrow flies and off screen hits Jesus in the arm, and he's just like, what the heck, man?
That would be pretty
I'm all
funny.
about promoting love and being good people, and you're over here trying to kill me, and Kratos is just like, he's using his words against you, boy, shoot him. There's a bunch of arrows come out of nowhere and hit him in the head, kill him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if we dropped Kratos killing Jesus, there'd be a lot of outrage. They
Yeah.
could definitely, if they wanted to make it, they could really do it, and they could probably do it right by having Kratos, fight like a bunch of angels and a bunch of demons, leading up to maybe fighting God, because whereas you can argue that, oh no, I'm not going to say this, I'm not going to get too deep into religion here, but they could do it right if they wanted to. Do I
It's
think they will?
interesting. I
No.
think going after, like, if they were to continue this, I think going after the Egyptian mythology is definitely the best, safest place to go. I don't know if you can go for some sort of
Horus and
like
Anubis.
Eastern Asian, like Japanese mythology. That might
They
be
could go
pushing it.
after-
But I think I do
Japanese
think
mythology, it's a lot of demons.
I do think I think that Egypt is a safe bet. in my
Maybe
opinion.
we could probably hop from Egypt to like maybe Hindu or something like that, like
Yeah, or
Buddhist.
something like, yeah, some Mayan stuff. That would be really cool.
Oh my God, fucking Kratos fighting like ancient Mayan gods of sacrifice and shit. Holy crap, man. Do you know how
There's a
weird that
lot
would
of
be?
opportunity. But yeah, it seems like they
And
really
it's
played
like
the Norse part really well. Seems like they did a really
it's
good
not
job.
like it's not like they can't keep this going forever, considering the fact that Kratos and Atreus are essentially both gods. It's not like they will grow old and die. Like maybe I don't know. Kratos is part human, isn't he? Isn't he a demigod? Or is he a full-on god?
It's hard to explain. I don't really know much about the original story.
Because
I
I
mean,
thought he
he
was just like
usurped the god of war from Ares, but I think ever since he got the blades of chaos,
that's right. No,
I
that's
think
you're completely right. He took the role of God of War from Ares. That's right.
yeah.
He is a god. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he might be like man, but definitely he's got the god part for sure. But yeah, so that was best narrative. So the next one of the last two, the ones that are I would say are the most important ones, is the best game direction.
That went to Ragnarok again, I believe.
It went to Elden Ring.
Oh.
Yeah, it's weird because I went back into voting and I went on to this best game direction. I thought I remember Ragnarok winning, but apparently not. Apparently Elden Ring won.
What the hell was there to direct?
I guess here's the best way to say it. It's awarded for the most outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
That
Which
makes
this
sense.
one's definitely
Once
debatable.
again, it's coming back to Elden Ring had a vision, and it basically took that vision, sprinkled it in fairy dust and diamonds, and then rolled it in gold, and then decided to put it on like one of those red velvet pillows, and then handed it to you. It's so unique in what they're trying to do. Because making a Souls game is very difficult because there's a lot of work, there's a lot of enemies, the maps are big, the boss fights are huge. There's a lot of little details that need to be done. So overall, I think it is a good point. And yes, I would agree with them winning that.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. It's kind of this one's hard to speak on, but
Yeah, it is. We should probably just skip it and move on to the next one because how much time do we have?
well, it's already an hour 15.
Yeah. You want to
But
just do the last ones and call it?
sure. Yeah, so the
It's up to you.
the big award. Yeah, no, I'm fine. Yeah, that's cool. The big award, the one that everyone was waiting for because it was pretty much just down to two picks, is the game of the year. The one they saved the biggest award for last.
It was
It
Elden
was
Ring.
it was former Rabbi Bill Clinton.
Former priest Bill Cosby. Wow. Sorry, did I say priest? I meant former bartender. We don't talk about that.
Yeah. But yeah, Elden Ring won, which I know some people were upset about, but are we surprised?
No, I don't understand why people are upset with it. Like, yeah, a lot of people wanted God of War to win, but I mean, I think it's only fair for Elden Ring to win. A lot of people, I think, were mostly complaining about the fact that Elden Ring came out like early 2020, whereas God of War came out within like the last few months of 2020. So they were complaining more that Elden Ring had a bigger chance to prove itself
Yeah.
because it was such a big game and people were constantly finding new secrets, new abilities, new weapons, new class builds, new this, new that. And it just kind of carried on throughout the year that made more people jump into it, whereas God of War had like, I don't know, 2 months to contend. Which,
Yeah.
let's be honest, 2 months is more than plenty of enough time for a God of War
I
to make
agree.
its mark.
How much didn't it? Wasn't it one of the most highest selling like exclusives to a console of all time?
It was very highly selling. It went
Yeah, I don't.
so
Yeah, recency
fast.
bias. I think, like, or I should say, I think it being coming out so late, I don't think is enough of an excuse to say, oh, that's why I didn't win. I'm like, no, it's not like. I mean, it'd be one thing if, like, I don't know, Stray came out at the same time that God of War did, but God of War, this game has been anticipated by a lot of people. It's a household franchise for PlayStation. In the revival in 2018 was massive, so of course a sequel would be huge. So no, I don't think that's enough of an excuse to say no, it's because it came out too late. No, I don't think so. I think this game it has the hype to stand on its own 2 feet, and I think it must have come close. I'm assuming Elden Ring did not swipe
Exactly.
this really. I don't think they swiped this award easily. The voting must have been relatively close between these two games. But yeah, Elden Ring won.
Yeah.
That's
If
totally
there's
fair.
one thing I will always bet, if there's something I will always bet my money on, that I can guaranteed sure that I can win, is that when a Souls game comes out, it's gonna be Game of the Year. It almost always is. When Sekiro came out,
Oh
it
yeah, I
was
forgot
Game of the Year.
Sekiro was Game of
Elden
the Year,
Ring,
wasn't it?
Elden Ring was Game of the Year. I think Bloodborne was Game of the Year too. I don't remember specifically, but it might have been. But you can always guarantee that a Souls game is going to be Game of the Year because they are very unique. A lot of time goes into them. It's close to a lot of people's hearts. It's just overall a good fucking game. And it's as clean as that. There's no other better way to put it.
Yeah, I'm looking right now.
And the fact that when they make a Souls game, they aren't afraid to try new things. And sometimes, most of the time, all the time, the players always like it. They always like that they try new things, and then they try them and they like them. But, oh man, it's great.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that. Yeah, Bloodborne, you said you weren't sure that Bloodborne won. It did not win. Although it looks like it came in second place, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was the one that won that year. But Bloodborne was
That's-
nominated, and it looks like it took second place.
That's fair enough. The Witcher was a really good game.
I actually don't know if it won any awards. It doesn't look like it won any awards. Batman Arkham Knight was nominated. That's kind of cool that year. But yeah.
But Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring are known for being the Souls games that are more, I'd like to say, seen as of aggressive games is the word probably, because they don't play like the other Souls game. Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 have a certain way of play, which is basically you always feel somewhat underpowered. No matter how much you level up, you have a sense of like, if something really wanted to kill you, you couldn't stop it. This could be completely wrong. I'm talking out of my ass here for the most part, but it's kind of how it feels. Mostly because I have no better way to describe it, but you kind of get where I'm going with this. They're tough, and like they're set in this certain way of dodge, get in, get some hits off, dodge again, and all that stuff. Whereas like games like Elden Ring and Sekiro and Bloodborne had a bit more of like an aggressive side to them. Because Bloodborne had this whole thing about how if you wanted to heal, you needed blood, so you needed to get in close and put out damage. Like that. And then Sekiro had this whole thing of like, you could parry, and you had all these different moves you could use, so you could get in more close quarters sword battles that lasted longer because you were able to parry and block.
Yeah.
To the point where, It was very fast-paced. Not to say that you can't parry and block in the other games, but Sekiro was far more fast-paced, and it went a lot swifter. And Elden Ring was kind of a mix of all of them, because Elden Ring could be basically whatever you wanted to. If you wanted to hang back and shoot sorceries, you could. If you wanted to get in close with your weapons, you could. If you wanted to build like an artifice class where you have a lot of weapons that had heavy enchantments, you could. If you wanted to be a ranged fighter, you could do that too. You had bows and cannons and everything.
Yeah.
So Elden Ring was kind of the huge compilation of all of these together, which is another reason why I think it won Game of the Year. Because I feel like everyone that's ever played a Souls game has one that they like more than others. And I think for the most part, you could constantly find that in Elden Ring. It would
Yeah.
take you a bit of time, but you could find that feeling of a certain other Souls game in Elden Ring. If you wanted it to be slow, more like Dark Souls, you could build your class around it to have that. If you wanted it to be really fast-paced, you could build your class around it to have that. I personally love the faster pace of things. I chose the samurai, and I chose some light armor and kind of a fast-hitting weapon. I love to be a dodge tank in those games, where I can go in and take a few hits and get a few hits in myself and be able to roll out really fast.
Yeah.
So that's just my play style, but I get it if you're one of those people that like to be a bit more like taking your time and using a heavier build or like a magic build.
That makes sense, but I'm personally not stunned. I think it should be Elden Ring. I don't know, but at the same time, I think it's totally deserving of this award.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, I can't be upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Glad it won. But I think that's
And
yeah. So we're at an hour 25.
Yeah, that's just scratching the surface of what happened at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Like all the announcements and stuff.
And then
Getting
good
an
old Bill
announcement
Clinton winning Game of the Year. Yeah. No, I was kidding. Actually,
All
let me
the
check. I don't think there are any
announcements.
other categories that I thought really caught my eye. Like best mobile game. Like, okay.
Yeah, that
I guess the innovation and accessibility one is interesting.
Who won that? We won't talk about it.
It
but
was
who
God
won
of War. As Dusk Falls, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1, and The Quarry were the other nominees.
Quarry was a good game. I do have to say it was a good game. But yeah. But you know, that wasn't all. That was at the Game Awards. There was a lot of other things. The announcements that happened for Jedi Survivor was great. I lost my shit when Cameron, what's his last name?
Monahan.
The guy that plays Cal. Cameron Monahan.
That was so
came
cool
out.
seeing him there. Yeah, that was, dude.
Yeah.
I'm probably there's a good. I think that would be a game that I would probably I would pay for full price. That
No,
and
I'm
Kill the
totally gonna
Justice League.
pay
I'm
for it.
probably gonna end up paying for full price.
Oh yeah, Kill the Justice League was announced. Judas was announced, which I'm looking forward to.
Interesting.
Judas was the one that like people are saying is going to be the next BioShock. If you guys know anything about me, which you probably don't because I only have 2 YouTube videos up, BioShock is my all-time favorite game ever.
Okay.
And I loved BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite. They were all amazing, and they said Judas is supposed to be a lot like that. I think it's called Judas. I might have it wrong. Do you know if it's called Judas, Jack?
What game is this?
It was announced at the Game Awards. It's called Judas, I think.
I think yes. Yeah.
Game Awards.
I think you're right.
Yeah, no, it's called Judas. Yeah. I'm trying to see, but I got stuck in an ad. Yes, it's from the creators of BioShock. It's called Judas. It takes place on a space station. You still have all of the abilities and all the guns. It looks great. And I can't wait for it. So I'm really excited for that. And there's a bunch of other games announced. Dead Stranding 2.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I'm freaking out about because I love Norman Reedus and I played the first one. I never finished it because that game had so much to do and took so long that I'm still trying to play through it and find everything that, whew, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So overall, I think last year was a really good year for games, and I hope this year's going to be just as good, and from what I've seen, I think it will be just as good. And with that, I guess we'll wrap this up.
I suppose so.
Want to take us out?
I think you should do it. You seem to be a savant at this stuff.
Oh, well, let me just do everything now, don't I? Alright, so thank you all so much for listening to the podcast. We always have a blast with this. If you guys have any suggestions for what you want us to talk about, then leave a comment. We'll go through them. We'll see. And remember, spade and neuter your pets.
That's quite the message. Interesting.
Tickle your girlfriend every now and then because you don't, have fun with her enough.
All right, that's fair.
Remember, eat your greens.
No, that one seems to be the most. Yeah, that one's a fair one. I can definitely find that one.
Remember to also not commit mass genocide. That's an important one too.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. No, in all seriousness, guys, thank you all so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. We're planning on trying to do these weekly now, so we'll see how it goes. So until next time, we're gonna close the mystery box,
Oh, yeah.
and we'll all see you in the next one.
All right.
Bye.